Hey guys, it's Dr. Hub. Today we look at the dermatome. So dermatome and the root value. So we're looking at the dermatome and the root value. And this is of the upper limb. So dermatome and the root value of the upper limb. So let's look at how they are. So in terms of the posterior aspect. Now let's look at the posterior aspect. So we are drawing a rough diagram. So considering the posterior aspect, here we have the C3 and the C4, and below the C3 and the C4 lies a C5, C6. So lies a C5, C6. So this is C5, C6, and in between them there is the C6, C7. There is C6 as well as 7, and there is also a division of the C8. The lateral portion it will include. So let's clear it. This is the posterior aspect. So we have the C6, C7, and then on the medial aspect it includes a T1 and 2. So this portion it includes a T1 and 2, as well as it proceeds bottom, it includes the C8 and the T1. It includes the C8 and the T1. Now when you look at the palm it includes the laterally, it includes the C8 and the T1, and towards the medial aspect, what is included is a C6, C7 and the 8. So this is in the posterior aspect. Now let's clearly look in the anterior aspect. How is it? So under the anterior aspect, there is the C8 and C3, C4. The top portion will include the C3, C4, and below that portion it will include the C5, C6. So this will include the C5, C6 as well as the bottom. Towards the thumb finger it will include the C5, C6. This is the anterior aspect. Then on the medial aspect, what does it include? In the medial aspect it includes the C8 and the T1. So this includes the C8 and the T1. This is the anterior aspect. So C8, T1 is involved. And towards the fingers, let's look at the finger. So this will be at the 1.5 fingers. So here it is C8 and T1, and on the other hand it includes the C6, 7 as well as the C8. So now let's look at the primary sensory areas. So what we have discussed here is that in terms of the C5, the C5, where we saw it is the upper lateral part of the arm. It is nothing but the upper lateral part of arm. Next we look at the C6. C6 is nothing but the palmar pad of thumb. Palmar pad of thumb is by the C6. So you have seen C6 is the palmar aspect of the thumb. Then comes question on the C7. C7 is nothing but the pad of the index finger. Pad of the index finger. Next is the C8. The C8 is nothing but the pad of the little finger. The pad of the little finger. Next comes the question on the T1. The T1 is nothing but the skin of the medial aspect of elbow. Medial aspect of the elbow.